Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for a better relationship with your sister next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Blaidd the Half-Wolf from Elden Ring, Shadow of Ranni the Witch, and all-around good boy. You know, until he gets locked up in an impenetrable prison by his best friend at the order of his sister. Then he gets a widow grumpy.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to bring the power of the Royal Greatsword, slamming and jamming enemies with the power of the moon. It's like Space Jam, which is also furry culture. The furries keep winning, good for them. That also includes a giant flip slam that might be slow but sends out a huge shockwave of frost damage. Finally, we need some thick armor, like Minnesota winter jacket thick. Before we get started, if you like Elden Ring and building character, I've started building some of your favorite fictional characters in Elden Ring, over on Tulok and Mango. I'm going to be streaming the runs on Patreon and cutting them down into short episodes. The first one's out now, so if you want to see how fun Elden Ring is as some of your favorite fictional characters, go check that out. Alright, for stats we're going to be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Strength will be number 1, that sword is meaty and Blaidd can technically one-handed. There is no reason to, he has nothing going on in his offhand, but he can. Constitution next. Elden Ring is full of horrible rolling spike frogs, knife birds, and dogs that deal 11,640 damage. Those aren't even bosses. Charisma after that. Blaidd is an icon, the likes of which we haven't seen since Tony the Tiger had to shut down his Twitter feed. Follow that up with wisdom. If you have the nose of a wolf, your perception is going to be pretty good. Intelligence might be a little lower than you'd expect. You need a lot of intelligence for the Royal Greatsword in Elden Ring, but most of the NPCs kinda roast Blaidd for being a bit simple. We'll dump dexterity though. We just don't need it. A 9-foot sword is not a finesse weapon, and this doggy loves wearing big, heavy outfits. Blaidd is a wolf, well, a half-wolf, so that says shifter to me. Beast hide will work best for this beastie buddy, letting you bump your constitution by 2 and your strength by 1. You get 60 feet of dark vision and the shifting ability. For beast hide shifters, that lets you give yourself 1d6 plus your total level and constitution modifier in temporary HP and +1 AC for 1 minute once per short rest. Popping that Radon rune arc before a brawl is probably a great idea. Fighting Radon to get it? Maybe not. You get perception and athletics for free, which are probably the skills I would want from your background, so just build your own background for acrobatics and history. You gotta know the Carrion royal family if you're a descendant of the Carrion royal family. Are you, though? Because you're Ranni's stepbrother, but she's an Empyrean, and also she's Renala's daughter, who isn't a god, so how is she an Empyrean unless Radagon made her? But then she's Renala's stepdaughter, and oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. Let's simplify things as a paladin. 2 skills from the paladin list, like insight and intimidation, to know when Selvis is up to something, and more properly squeeze the information out of him. Lay on hands lets you heal a creature from a pool equal to 5 times your paladin level as an action, and you can touch yourself. For Crimson Tears, get your mind out of the gutter. Divine Sense lets you sense celestials, fiends, and undead a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. Unfortunately, doesn't work on giants. Who would have guessed EG would be so sneaky? Second level paladins really get things going with a fighting style like great weapon fighting. To reroll 1s and 2s on damage die with weapons you're wielding two-handed. It's like getting a 50% strength bonus from two-handing. Also use a greatsword. It deals 2d6 slashing damage and is even better with great weapon fighting since it's more chances to improve your damage. You also get some paladin spells like Cure Wounds to heal 1d8 plus your charisma modifier to a creature you touch with an action, and yeah, you can touch yourself for a golden seed. That upgrades the Crimson Tears. I don't mean that kind of seed. Thunderous Smites lets you add 2d6 thunder damage to a weapon attack as a bonus action, forcing a strength saving throw on the creature you hit and knocking them prone 10 feet away if they fail. It's not cold damage, but there isn't really a way to do that. Sorry, gamers. Maybe you'd prefer something like a regular Divine Smite, letting you spend a spell slot to add 2d8 radiant damage to one weapon attack and an additional d8 of damage to fiends and undead. If you have higher level slots, you can even add another d8 of radiant damage. But for more extra damage that's in character, hit the 3rd level of Paladin and choose the Oath of Vengeance for the spell Hunter's Mark. That'll let you pick a creature to deal an extra d6 of damage to with your weapon attacks, so if you're going one-on-one, that's a great sword that deals 3d6 damage and you can re-roll the low numbers. I've done a few runs through Elden Ring now, and the Royal Greatsword hits harder than just about anything I've used. You can also channel divinity in one of 2 ways. Abjure Enemy forces a wisdom saving throw on a creature, frightening them and setting their movement speed to 0 if they fail, or you could use a Vow of Enmity, giving you advantage on attacks attack rolls against a creature you choose within 10 feet of you for a minute. We'll be getting some slow, riskier slashes later. It would be nice if they all hit. You also get divine health, making you immune to disease, so you don't have to worry about Melania. I don't have to worry about Melania because after beating her the first time, I decided I'm never going back to the Haligtree in future playthroughs. I hate her. 4th level paladins get an ability score improvement, bump your strength to hit harder and more often with your massive sword. 5th level paladins will hit more often for other reasons thanks to extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks instead of 1 with your action. To make those attacks with a magic weapon, use the spell Magic Weapon, which adds 1 to your attack and damage rolls for an hour depending on your concentration. It's pretty straightforward, like playing a cool wolf knight with a giant sword. We're gonna bounce over to Sorcerer now, specifically a Holy Soli or a Divine Soul Sorcerer. I don't know who your parents are. Last time I tried to do lore without a Vadi video, I woke up with a nosebleed 6 hours later. But Ranni likes you, so you're favored by the gods, giving you 2d4 to add to a failed attack roll or saving throw once per short rest, which is gonna be really good later. That 2d4, it's gonna rule. You get cantrips like Booming Blade, letting you make a melee attack that deals an extra d8 of thunder damage, and 2d8 thunder damage to a creature if they move after you hit them. You can dodge the first plunge, but you're probably gonna get hit by the big boom. Too bad it's thunder damage, not cold. Thunderclap forces a constitution saving throw on creatures within 5 feet of you, dealing 2d6 thunder damage to those that fail. Too bad it's thunder damage, not cold. Green Flame Blade lets you make a melee weapon attack that deals an extra d8 plus your charisma modifier and fire damage to a creature within 5 feet of them. I wish it was cold damage instead of fire. Guidance gives a creature a d4 for ability checks. I wish it was cold damage. Wait, no, not for that one. For your first level spells, Jump triples a creature's jump distance to make sure you can do a cool flip. Bless gives up to 3 creatures a d4 to add to their attack rolls and saving throws for a minute, another important thing for later. 2nd level sorcerers get a Font of Magic with sorcery points you can use to recover spell slots, giving you some cerulean tears if you're sick of Fruit Punch and want to try the Glacier Freeze. You can also boil down spell slots into sorcery points, but that's going to be more important when we have meta magic. 3rd level sorcerers get meta magic, letting you augment your spells with sorcery points. Transmuted Spell lets you spend sorcery points to take a spell that deals acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage and make it deal a different type of damage from that list instead. That means cold smites are now an option, with Thunderous Smite becoming Cold Smite, Booming Blade becoming Freezing Blade, Thunderclap becomes Thunder Snow, and Green Flame Blade is now Blue Blade Blast. Or you could use Quickened Spell to cast a spell as a bonus action that normally takes an action. That means you could not only Booming Blade, but still get your normal 2 attacks in per round. It just won't be cold damage since you only have 1 meta magic option per spell. I'm not grabbing a 2nd level spell here, you can at home if you want, but Blaidd spends his focus on that sick weapon art. So should you. Back over to Paladin now. 6th level paladins get an Aura of Protection, letting you add your charisma modifier to all your saving throws, and allies within 10 feet of you can as well. That's only +1, but maybe it will get better later. Who knows? 7th level Vengeance paladins are Relentless Avengers, letting you move half your movement speed after you hit a creature with an opportunity attack. Thought you dodged the first slash from Blaidd? Bad news, buddy. He's jumping after you. 8th level paladins get another ability score improvement, cap off your strength to hit as hard as possible with the Royal Greatsword for now. 9th level paladins can learn 3rd level spells. Spirit Shroud lets you add a d8 of cold, radiant, or necrotic damage to your weapon attacks within 10 feet of you. Movement speeds of hostile creatures are reduced by 10 feet, and they can't heal after you hit them. If you stay aggressive enough, nobody gets to drink their Gatorade. Haste might also be good for that. It's free from the Vengeance list, adding 2 to your AC, doubling your movement speed, giving you advantage on dexterity saves, and an extra action to dash, disengage, hide, or make 1 more attack. That means you could Quicken Booming Blade, make 2 more attacks with your action, and a 4th from this action. God, that's brutal, even if the Booming Blade wouldn't be cold at that point. Once that's over, you need to take a round off of actions and reactions, but whatever boss you're battling will probably be dead by then. Pro Elden Ring tip, by the way, if you're struggling with a boss, try dealing more damage. The best way to get through it is to just hammer them as fast as possible. Even if you die, at least you died faster. 10th level paladins get Aura of Courage, making creatures within 10 feet of you immune to frightening. Who could be frightened with an 8-tall wolfman carrying a sword the size of a sedan? On their team, of course. If I was on the other team, I'd be pooping my pants. 11th level paladins get improved Divine Smite, adding a permanent d8 of radiant damage to all of your weapon attacks. That's the biggest basic weapon attack in the game. No way to add more damage to it. No way. 12th level paladins get an ability score improvement or feat. The Great Weapon Master feat lets you add 10 to the damage roll of a weapon attack if you're willing to take a -5 penalty to your roll to hit. And if you critically hit with that heavy weapon, you can make another attack as a bonus action. With 4 attacks per round from that combo I mentioned earlier, that's 60 damage just from your modifier. I was lying to you when I said we couldn't make the attack do more damage. I'm a liar. 13th level paladins can learn 4th level spells, or you could just use the spell slots for sorcery points. It's in character and gives you the rad ice slam. Out of character, it just gives you a better extra attack as a bonus action. Sorcery points kinda rule. 14th level paladins get cleansing touch, letting you remove an effect of a spell from a creature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. No check, no nothing. You only have one use per day, so I'd save those boluses for something important. Or forget they're in your inventory forever like I do. 15th level vengeance paladins get soul of vengeance, meaning when a creature you have your vow of enmity effect on hits you with an attack, you can hit them right back with an action. If you're using something slow like the greatsword, you're gonna have to trade damage. Thankfully, your damage is very, very high, so the trade should work out in your favor. 16th level paladins get another ability score improvement or a feat. The meta magic adept feat lets you use 2 more sorcery points and 2 more meta magic options. We don't need any more meta magic options, so extended spell doubles a spell's duration if you want to haste longer. Our capstone will actually be another level of sorcerer for an ability score improvement. Let's grab the skill expert feat for +1 to your charisma, expertise in a skill like athletics, and an extra skill here at the end. Persuasion seems like it could be good. People like Blaidd a lot. This dip also gives you another sorcery point for a total of 6 before you need to start converting your spell slots. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, the haste, booming blade, quicken spell, divine smite combo will let you deal 8d6 plus 27d8 plus 60 damage in a single round, or around 192 with median rolls. That's pretty brutal. Even without Nova smashing, each hit of your sword is dealing 2d6 plus 1d8 plus 15 damage, or you can make an icy booming blade for 1 hit that adds 3d8 cold damage instead. Finally, you're beefy with around 176 HP depending on how you rolled, plus 1d6 plus 23 temporary HP free once per short rest from shifting, and 19 AC in full plate, and crimson flasks from cure wounds and lay on hands to heal yourself up if you have to. For weaknesses, investing in your charisma would have been very helpful for better saving throws. You only get +2 to all of them, which is, oh, well, that's still really good. You do have a lot of concentration spells, so you'll have to pick which ones you want to use. I think the biggest weakness you have though is your lack of range. Even if you choose some ranged attacking spells with your sorcerer levels, your charisma is too low to cast them effectively. So team up with Latenna or one of those minotaurs with the homing arrows that don't attack you in the Sophria River Basin. Blaidd is a friend to all, with a sword that will make the baddies fall. Just be wary of betrayal. Sometimes being too loyal is a giant mistake. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Go follow me on Twitch and sub to Tulok and Mango to watch the highlights of my runs through Elden Ring as some of your favorite fictional characters.